At the Mississippi Arts and Entertainment Experience in Meridian, we believe in the power of the arts, storytelling, and education, just like Mississippi Public Broadcasting. MPB connects communities across the state with quality programs that inform, inspire, and engage. Their audience is loyal and appreciative of businesses that support public broadcasting, which makes underwriting on MPB a smart investment. Join us in supporting MPB. Learn more at mpbfoundation.org.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Bobby Rush. As a blues man, I love Mississippi Public Broadcasting. If you support Mississippi music and their local programming, donate now, right now, and become a member today, not tomorrow. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Doesn't matter how big or small, but we prefer big. Thank you very much.
Here on MPB Think Radio, Malcolm White with Carol Palmer, and we're listening to our old buddy
Jesse Winchester.
Jesse Winchester.
Malcolm, that was such a good call on your part. It just made me so happy.
Talk
when
Memphis.
You texted me that.
Talk Memphis. Yeah. Love old Jesse. Good stuff. Well, it's Monday, and it's Monday afternoon, and it's time for Deep South Dining. So what have you been cooking? You told me you found some really fine fish over the weekend.
Yes,
is that right?
Yes. All right.
Talk about it.
I will tell you, John Lester, who has Dugan's, the seafood truck,
Yes.
comes to our hometown on Thursdays and Fridays, always has the most beautiful fish. He had some halibut that was just stunning. So he had, a huge piece and cut some steaks that were about 2 inches thick. And it was so beautiful, I wanted to do something with it that didn't mess it up.
Right.
Like do too much stuff.
Don't overdo the halibut.
Yes. So I did.
Understated is the best.
I did a roasted halibut with lemons, olives, and rosemary.
Ooh.
And, because it's me,
Ooh.
It was a recipe I printed out of the New York Times.
Nothing wrong with that. Those people are pretty darn smart.
And they have the best test kitchens, and everything is like complex but simple. The flavors are complex, preparation simple. Anyway, it was just delightful. I mean, you just rub it with a little oil and put Aleppo pepper and lemons and scatter some olives, rosemary on top in 8 minutes, and it was delicious.
Speaking of lemon and olives, I brought you some chicken pasta salad that Kara made.
Yes, you did.
She made this for the International Ballet Competition Kentucky Derby fundraiser on Saturday. And we got a little extra, so I thought I'm going to bring John and Carol a taste. Olives, lemon, fresh lemon juice, chicken.
I'm tasting, Malcolm.
Broccolini. Please help
Would
yourself.
you like? Do you have a spoon?
No, I'm
over
good.
There?
Asparagus.
Yeah.
And
little tomatoes.
and little baby tomatoes. Really sweet little tomatoes in there.
Delicious. I heard that Kentucky Derby party was just excellent.
Yes, I think you've been to many of those.
I've been to many of them. I've been to many Kentucky Derbies. And
Did you watch the Derby?
no, but I watched the rerun. That was an amazing. I
mean, that
Kentucky
horse came
Derby.
from nowhere, and first female trainer. I loved it. I don't usually watch the Kentucky Derby or much care about it, but a bunch of friends of mine were talking about it. And a friend of mine, Julian Rankin from the Walter Anderson Museum, actually went. He and his dad, Tom, and a group of friends went to the Derby. So I got excited about that. I put my big wager on Chief Wallaby, who finished fourth.
It was a great name, and
He finished fourth.
Obviously, you knew what you were doing.
I knew nothing about what I was doing.
But my dad was a Kentucky Derby guy, and every now and then he would take me. And the reason he said he took me is because I took it seriously. I always had a really big hat.
Of course you did.
None of these little small.
No.
wimpy things, and he thought that showed great enthusiasm, and I'm all about enthusiasm.
Unlike the halibut, understated, the Kentucky Derby
It's
hat
over-
wearing
yes.
is very overstated.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
you can't go
indeed.
wrong when you go large. Now, another dish I brought you today was fresh made this morning by my friend Lynn Stanga, who I have been sharing my brother Hal's soup recipes with, and he's been slowly converting them down to home cook recipes instead of industrial. This was one of my all-time favorites. It's blue chicken Florentine.
It has blue cheese in
Has
it.
blue
I was
cheese,
trying to see what that taste is.
chicken, and spinach for the Florentine. But I thought it was really, really, really right on to my brother's recipe. So Lynn and I have been having a big time fooling around with Hal's soup recipes. He made the gumbo a couple of weeks ago, and it was really tasty. So
when you
and
get them all
Johnny-
done, you're going to do a book,
Who
another
knows?
book?
Who knows what will happen? For now, we're just making soup and making friends.
Yes, you are. Well, you've made friends with me. But I'm going to
Great.
have one last comment on my recipe.
Oh,
Because I know
please
you'd
do.
want to
Yeah, I didn't
know.
mean to cut you short on
Well,
your recipe.
I just wanted to celebrate the fact that we can now go to the grocery store and buy Aleppo pepper. That used to be, an exotic ingredient. And what it is, it's a Syrian pepper that's a mild chili flake. It's kind of fruity and tangy, and it's a lot less hot than just putting on red pepper flakes. So on something like halibut, instead of just putting some hot on it, it's a little complexity in
I
flavor.
like it. And you put it on as you're cooking
Yeah,
it?
just,
or
no,
the-
just sprinkling it before we put it in the oven. But just
So
recommend
you roasted the halibut, panade it, or
It's really not roasted. I mean, it's roasted that you bake it in the oven, and the last minute
You
put
add
it in the broiler. But
to brown
just
it off?
for all our listeners out there who haven't had Aleppo pepper, try it.
Very good, very good. So I saw an article in Southern Living that I shared with you just because it's things that we're interested in, and it was entitled "The Most Legendary Grocery Stores in the South," and there were a couple in there that you and I are pretty fond of and are familiar with. So I thought we might mention those.
Yeah, you want to go first?
Well, for me, the Motica Market in Seaside was listed, and we bought a house in Grayton Beach back in 1992, and Motica opened in 1988. So it was kind of a new store in the Seaside complex, the Motica family. Charles Motica, the dad, had retired from a grocery store in Birmingham and moved his family down to Seaside and opened up the Motica Market. And Carmel and Charlie, the children, they now carry on the Motica reputation, and it's a fabulous little home-owned store. They have hot foods and cold deli place, and then they have all kinds of great olive oils and wines, and it's just a wonderful, wonderful place. And so shout out to the Moticas for Motica Market
And
Seaside.
Malcolm, I remember when it first opened because, I had the Everyday Gourmet, which also opened in the 80s. And people were so excited about it because it's a truly gourmet store. And we didn't have many of those
Right.
in the South at the time. And people were always bringing back, a special olive oil or a tapenade or, some kind of condiment treasure from Motica Market. So they were really ahead of their times. And I do love it, and I know you do too, when a family-owned business
Absolutely.
has over 50 years of history.
All right, we're going to have to take a break here because we have a pre-recorded show coming up, and we're on kind of a tight timetable. But I did want to mention one other store on the list.
The BTC old-fashioned grocery store in Water Valley.
Absolutely. Other friends of ours, friends of the show, and they have a fabulous place. So we've got a special pre-record with Stacey Greenberg, the editor-in-chief of Edible Memphis, coming up after our break. And we also, I wanted to tell you, I stumbled into a bottle of Mississippi red pepper sauce this past weekend, and our great friend Tyler Timms, Chef Tyler Timms of Starkville, has started this brand of pepper sauce, and we're going to be announcing some.
He's been doing great with it.
Absolutely, and speaking of peppers, it's a combination of heirloom rooster spur peppers along with Thai chili, jalapeno, habanero, cayenne peppers, and so we're looking forward to that. We'll take a break. We'll be right back with more Deep South Dining here on MPB Think Radio.
Mississippi is a place of deep roots where every story matters and every voice can be heard. At MPB, we stand with our local communities, bringing you the voices of those who shape our state through local programming that reflects our culture across small towns to big cities, from the Delta to the coast. We tell the stories that define us, from the music that carries our voices to the leaders who inspire change. MPB brings you the heart of Mississippi, celebrating Mississippi one story at a time. MPB, your stories, our mission.
School choice, rural hospitals, voter access. The 2026 Mississippi Legislature will impact you and your family for years to come. MPB brings you At Issue, a weekly analysis of the legislative session and the issues affecting you with perspectives from both sides of the aisle. Brandon Jones and new At Issue analyst Rebecca Staples join me, Wilson Stribling, every Monday at 5 p.m. only on MPB Think Radio and wherever you get your podcasts. MPB, your stories, our mission.
Together through the years, together in the future. MPB, your stories, our mission.
From MPB Think Radio, this is Deep South Dining with hosts Malcolm White and Carol Palmer. I'm producer Marissa Vaughn. Our show is brought to you by Mississippi Red Pepper Sauce. Discover more at msredpeppersauce.com. Today, we're sharing an interview with Editor-in-Chief of Edible Memphis, Stacey Greenberg.
Welcome to Deep South Dining here on MPB Think Radio. Malcolm White with Carol Palmer. Hello, Carol Palmer. How in the world are you?
Hey, Mal, I'm great.
Good. So glad to see you.
It's another Monday.
Another Monday. Well, today we're excited because we have in the studio someone that we've been trying to get in the studio or get in the Zoom or on the phone or in some form or fashion for quite some time. Today we are talking with the editor-in-chief of Edible Memphis, Stacey Greenberg. Edible Memphis is a quarterly magazine that celebrates the abundance of local foods season by season in the Mid-South and helps to promote the local bounty and build ties between farmers, food artisans, and the rest of the community. So we want to welcome Stacey to Deep South Dining.
Well, hello.
Hello, and welcome to Jackson.
Thank you.
People don't need to know this, but I find it curious that you've come for the Wilco concert tonight. We're pre-recording here.
Well, it's curious because we're normally going the other way.
Right. We're usually headed to Memphis for
So
concerts.
Well,
so it is a big, exciting event here.
Yes, they are coming to Memphis in July, but they did not announce that show until we bought tickets for this show. So now we just get to see them twice.
Good.
Yeah,
well, it's a great venue. I don't know if you've been to Thalia.
I
It's a good venue, and of course, you know their work, and they're fantastic. So anyway, again, welcome. We're glad you're here. As you know, we have a connection to an old Boonville high school friend of mine, Donna Cartwright Roden. And her daughter, who works with you, Manda Roden Gibson.
Yes.
And Donna and I think we were Facebook messaging or emailing or texting or something about this show. She had found out about it, and she said, well, did you know that my daughter is working for Edible Memphis? And I said, no, I didn't. And I didn't even know what Edible Memphis is. So let's start with the sort of generic, what is Edible Memphis?
Well, yes, I was wondering what brought us to your attention. So Edible Memphis is part of Edible Communities. And so across the United States, there are about 90 different titles. So there's an Edible Nashville. There used to be an Edible New Orleans. I think it is a little defunct right now.
Is there still Charleston?
I think so.
Because that was the first one I ever knew about.
Yeah, so they're like all over. So we're like a franchise of Edible Communities, and it is a quarterly magazine. We focus on supporting local growers, local makers, local chefs, local restaurants. That's sort of our focus, is to highlight the good things going on locally.
All right. Well, that's cool. So, and how long have you been up and running in Memphis?
So Edible Memphis has existed for about 20 years. The first 10 years we had a different publisher. It was Melissa Peterson. She moved from Portland and started Edible Memphis, and I was just one of her writers. And then after 10 years, she passed the baton over to Bill Gaines. He's our present publisher, and he hired me to be editor-in-chief about 8 years ago.
And prior to that, you had done freelance writing for them? Is that what, is that
I was
right?
just like one of the regular writers.
And how long have you had this affinity for food and food culture and what you're doing here?
I have always been interested in food culture. I mean, I found a box in my attic where I had written letters from camp telling my parents about what they were serving in the cafeteria. So I have always been interested in food, but it wasn't really until I had kids. So I have two sons. They just turned 22 and 24. And so when they were children, I started a blog called Dining with Monkeys. So we would go out to eat, and they had pretty much ruined the experience of going out to eat. And so the only way to sort of cope with it was to kind of write it up and make it funny. And, and in that process of just sort of telling the tales of what they would do in restaurants, it sort of became helpful, and other parents would read it. And so I kind of made a name for myself with Dining for Monkeys. And then from there I started doing recommended dishes for the Memphis Flyer, and then I got a column in the Commercial Appeal that was mostly parenting. It was sort of like food and parenting, and then Dining with Monkeys was sort of where they intersected, and I just sort of started freelancing for everybody.
Well, talking about intersecting, one of the things I really like about Edible Memphis is the intersection of storytelling, restaurants, agriculture, restaurant culture. I mean, it's not just what are the best restaurants in Memphis. There's just a lot of richness to it.
Well, thank you. I find that most of the edible titles really lean into recipes, and it is pretty rare that we do a recipe. We are much more interested in the people who are, making our food culture what it is.
And so people here in this part of the world tend to lean toward New Orleans. I went to high school in Boonville, as aforementioned, and in Boonville you lean to Memphis as the urban center. And so growing up, Memphis was a big deal to me. And, the Croissantes restaurants, all the barbecue places, that was going to town for us. We'd go to Memphis, see a concert, ball game, whatever it might be, and then we would go out on the town. Overton Square was a big deal back then, and we'd go looking for restaurants. But how would you summarize the sort of Memphis scene, the food scene there, if you met someone who'd never been to Memphis and they just said, well, tell me about your town, your culture, what's the scene like?
Okay. Well, I mean, obviously we're very well known for barbecue, and you will find barbecue from the river to the suburbs and everywhere in between. So definitely there's a very strong barbecue culture, but that is just the tip of the iceberg in Memphis. Obviously soul food, all those things. We have a really interesting thing happening with vegans sort of redefining soul food so that it's healthier. So you see a lot of reinterpretation of soul food in a vegan format, which is interesting. So that's going on. And also, I mean, we have such a we have so many diverse groups of people in Memphis, especially in our Asian community. So I think this is year 4 where we've been doing the Asian American Heritage Month, and we also have the Asian night market that happens in the fall. And so,
tell us about that.
Well, this year it's going to be 2 days. So it started at Crosstown Concourse, and the first year they did it, it was just a mob scene. You couldn't park, you couldn't get there, so then they moved it to the Liberty Bowl the next year, and I think they were bringing like 10,000 people. And then last year was at the Agri Center, and it's just like bigger and bigger. There is such a like hunger for Asian food in Memphis, and so we are seeing, Chinese, Vietnamese, Lao, Filipino, it's just like everybody. And so the night market this year is going to be 2 nights or 2 days. Like 2 10-hour days out at the Agri Center. And so a lot of people who have been going to the night market, they get popular, they do pop-ups, and they start opening restaurants. And so we're just seeing a lot of growth in like the Asian restaurants, which is my favorite, so I couldn't be happier.
Yeah, well, mine too, and my imagination is running wild at the thought of night markets, because my first experience in Asia, well, Hong Kong, then China, then Vietnam, there in Thailand are the night markets. That's culturally, that's just a big deal, and they're huge and they're colorful, and the food is incredible. And
yes, all those
music and all those things. So anyway, Malcolm, we got to put it on our calendar.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I didn't understand that.
It's the end of September, and so my friend who's Malaysian told me that when you go to the night market, you can't possibly eat everything you want to eat in one day. So you got to take like a bag, you got to take Tupperware, you got to take Ziplocs, you got to be prepared to buy all the things and then go home and eat them throughout the weekend or the week, because there's just more than you could eat in one day, because it's just incredible.
Our Delta Haljoy family ended up in Memphis, right?
I think so.
Isn't that right?
Yeah. Yep.
Do you know that that bunch?
It was Haljoy was a restaurant in Greenville, Mississippi. But that whole Delta contingent goes back and forth.
And what's the chef's name? The owner.
Raymond Wong. It was Raymond Wong.
No, I'm thinking about the guy that went to Memphis.
Wally Joe.
Wally Joe. Wasn't he from that family?
No, he was. The Joe family lived in Cleveland.
Cleveland. Okay. Well, anyway, Delta
chefs.
Yeah, Asian families moved to Memphis.
Yeah, Wally Joe just got James Beard.
Oh, good.
Or nominated.
Good.
Yeah, him and
good.
Andrew, his sous chef.
Oh, I'm glad they're
And what
still
restaurant
together.
is that?
It's Acre.
Acre.
And that's in East Memphis. It's like a house, and it's beautiful. It's so good.
So your magazines, you do a physical magazine, which you've brought for us today, and you publish that quarterly, right?
Yes.
And it's a 4-color or 20-color or whatever. I remember we used to refer to things as 4-color.
Yeah, it's all the colors.
Yeah.
Right. We do a physical magazine, and we put it out around town. We have like 20+ drop sites, and you can subscribe online, and we can mail it to you. Most of our subscribers are sort of like in the suburbs, places where you're not going to just go pick one up. And I do have, on the way here, we drove through Tutwiler, Mississippi, and I do have a subscriber in Tutwiler, Mississippi. It made me very interested in what he must do in Tutwiler.
Do you look him up? Go around knocking on doors?
I am.
So you came down 61?
Yeah, we did.
Good for you.
Yeah, that was fun.
It is great.
So tell us about the Memphis Farmers Markets. Is it a market or are there markets?
We have several markets. So we have the Cooper Young Community Farmers Market, which is year-round. It is in the Cooper Young community, which is Midtown, and it's in the First Congregation Church parking lot. And so year-round, it's either from 9 to 1 or 8 to 12, depending on the season. Right now we're in the 8 to 12, and it's awesome. We have farmers from all over the region who come. We have bakers, we have chocolatiers, everything. So, and that is the only year-round market that we have. And then the bigger one is the Memphis Farmers Market, which is downtown at the train station. And they have a similar mix of people. Farmers coming from all over, and makers and bakers and flower growers and whatnot. And they operate from April until November. And then we have the Agri Center, which they'll stay open throughout the week, but it's certainly much bigger on Saturdays, and they're sort of drawing from further out. There's a lot of the Hmong community that they have several stands there, so that's kind of neat.
Tell us about that community.
Amanda did a story on that community,
okay.
actually, yes. There is, I haven't, this is a few
it's
years
a tribal
ago.
community that was from the area where Cambodia, Laos, and Vietnam.
And this is a community in Memphis.
It's outside of Memphis. It's, I can't remember, but like in, rural Tennessee. Mm-hmm. And there is like an elder man who's, I think, late 80s, but he's like recently remarried, and then he has several children, and they all have their own farms kind of on the same land. But they each have their own section that they're farming, several children and their families. So I don't think I have the right issue here, so I can't refresh my memory unless it's in this one. But it was a good one.
Yeah, that would be super interesting to me.
Yeah.
Those were some of the groups that came after the Vietnam War and settled in the U.S. I didn't realize.
Along with the Vietnamese on the coast.
Yeah, but I didn't realize we had a Hmong community so close to us.
So I'm not asking you to segue into geography, but just for our listeners.
Oh, no.
Can you sort of describe the communities like downtown, midtown? I mean, you have all of these East Memphis. Can you talk a little bit about that? And then maybe like what they're sort of known for?
Okay.
If there are certain things that they're known for, maybe not.
Okay, so, downtown, that's right along the river.
That's what most people know.
Yes, the Peabody, the Arcade, that's where Beale Street is, and the Memphis Farmers Market. And there's all kinds of restaurants there. I mean, if you're visiting, I see tourists there all the time. My office is downtown. I get asked for directions, people. I love when someone will just randomly ask me for directions and then maybe ask me for a food recommendation. And I'm like, you don't even know who you just asked.
I wrote the book.
So beyond downtown, then you get into the medical district. And near the medical district is the Edge district, which is sort of like up and coming. There's a lot of new places opening there. I don't want to say hipster, but
but that's a good definition.
Okay.
we understand hipster.
Okay, we'll say edgy. There's art galleries. There, young chefs doing really cool things. A lot of farm to table thing. So it's very like vibrant scene in the Edge district. And then from there you get into Midtown, which is like Cooper Young, which I mentioned before, Overton Square, which you mentioned, and this is like old houses, young people, old people, just sort of more of your laid-back, liberal types in Midtown, I guess. And then from there, the University District, where a lot of bars and maybe less expensive places in that area catering to the students. And then we get into East Memphis, which we call that sort of the vortex. There's just so, like, if you're going to open a restaurant, you want to open in East Memphis because that's where all the traffic is. You're like, that's the most... the intersection of where all the cars are and the people and the grocery stores and whatever. So a lot of new places will open up in East Memphis, and there's quite a diversity there. And then from East Memphis, you get into Germantown and Cordova and Cairville and all the suburbs like that. And along Germantown Road, which goes from Germantown to Cordova, this is where we're seeing so many new ethnic restaurants opening up. So it feels weird to say it, but like some of the most exciting things opening are in Cordova, which I never thought I would say, but it's true.
You just never know.
We'll be right back with more of our interview with Stacey Greenberg, Editor-in-Chief of Edible Memphis, on Deep South Dining.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Bobby Rush. As a blues man, I love Mississippi Public Broadcasting. If you support Mississippi music and their local programming, donate now, right now, and become a member today, not tomorrow. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Doesn't matter how big or small, but we prefer big. Thank you very much.
School choice, rural hospitals, voter access. The 2026 Mississippi Legislature will impact you and your family for years to come. MPB brings you At Issue, a weekly analysis of the legislative session and the issues affecting you with perspectives from both sides of the aisle. Brandon Jones and new At Issue analyst Rebecca Staples join me, Wilson Stribling, every Monday at 5 p.m. only on MPB Think Radio and wherever you get your podcasts. MPB, your stories, our mission.
MPB is on the road again. This time, we're going to our favorite local restaurants to talk to the chefs behind our favorite local food. We'll learn about the history of our recipes, where they come from, and who created them. We'll hear the stories from the people that keep our traditions alive and what new flavors they're adding to it. Because here in the South, our food tells us the story of who we are. Southern Dish, premiering April 2nd on MPB television. MPB, your stories, our mission.
From MPB Think Radio, this is Deep South Dining with hosts Malcolm White and Carol Palmer. I'm producer Marissa Vaughn. Our show is brought to you by Mississippi Red Pepper Sauce. Discover more at msredpeppersauce.com. Here's more from our interview with Editor-in-Chief of Edible Memphis, Stacey Greenberg.
So we're talking to Stacey Greenberg of Edible Memphis, and she knows quite a bit about food and food culture and is hipping us to the Memphis scene.
Yeah, it sounds pretty hip. But, I wanted to go backwards just a little bit.
Okay, let's do it.
This always happens this way.
Let's do it.
I leap forward and Carol comes back.
Yeah,
that's how we roll.
But I just, think whenever we're doing this, we're talking about what a vibrant culinary scene Memphis is. Memphis has historically had a really strong culinary scene. I'm talking about 40, 50 years ago. And, I think about the restaurant Justine's. Mm-hmm. You think about Chez Philippe at the Peabody and Chef Jose Gutierrez, who now has another restaurant.
Right. He's at Ripper Oaks. But Chez Philippe is still there, and they have a chef, Keith Clinton, who is doing some really cool stuff there. Really cool things still happening at Chez Philippe, for sure.
Because people used to drive to Memphis for fine dining because there wasn't that. And just someone we really need to mention is Raji Jalapali, who had a beautiful restaurant, and people came from all over to go, and unfortunately she died.
We did do a
very
story.
young.
We did a story about her.
Good.
After her death. We had Justin Fox Burks did a story about her restaurant. I never went there, but that was one of our early issues. We covered that.
Cool.
So tell us a little bit about the barbecue scene. I know you're not a barbecue magazine, but because so many people, myself included, look north to Memphis for barbecue. Has the scene evolved, or is it more or less the same families dominating the barbecue scene, and then there's the competition? But are there young people coming in and sort of reshaping and redefining that whole barbecue thing?
Yes. So Bain Barbecue, which is in Cooper Young, this is a Texas-style barbecue. Oh. So that's pretty, contentious to say,
heresy.
Yes.
Well, here we are in Memphis.
Very Texas style.
But Bain Barbecue is Brian Bain and his wife Heather Bain, and they are, I don't know exactly how old they are, but they're early 30s, I would say, and they are really making some delicious barbecue over there. So they do pork as well, but they're really known for their brisket, and they're about to actually open a second location in Germantown. So they're growing fast. They started as a food truck. Well, it started with the pandemic. Bryant was an IT guy and just started smoking butts in his backyard, and brisket, and then selling it to friends. And then from there, it turned into the food truck, and now it's a restaurant and soon to be a second restaurant. But the two of them are really fun. We actually went on a barbecue tour together last year where we went to the old school places like Central Barbecue and Interstate and Barbecue Shop, Cozy Corner,
Payne's.
Rendezvous, Payne's. We went to all because they hadn't been, so we went together and literally ordered everything on the menu. And I made some videos. They're pretty funny. You can see them on our Instagram. But those two are really fun, and they're really passionate, and they're making really delicious food. So they're kind of like the next generation. So even though it's not Memphis-style barbecue, it is still
barbecue in Memphis.
That's right. There you go.
So you mentioned the videos, and you can see them. Tell our listeners where they can find all of your stuff.
Okay,
on the internet.
Yes, on Instagram, it's just Edible Memphis, and we try to post Monday through Friday, and we also will link our stories that are in the magazine on Instagram. And then we have some highlights here, and one of the highlights is called a meetup, MEAT, meetup. meetups, and that was all the videos with me and the Baines going out to try all the old school places.
Malcolm, I did see something on there. We've got to mark our calendars for August 22nd because it is the Edgy Tomato Festival.
Oh, in the edgy part of town.
That's right. We're going to do it in the Edge District. So this that's actually a placeholder, a save the date. We are in the midst of getting this off the ground, but we are hoping, yes, on April 22nd to celebrate all
August
things.
22nd.
August 22nd, all things tomato.
Book it.
Yes, thank you.
So you do events as well as the quarterly, the online, and you do events as well.
Yeah. So
now, is that the franchise model of Edible whatever, or is this the way that you guys interpret it?
It's it's different in every city. We haven't really done a big event since the pandemic, just because it takes a lot of work and capacity. And so we've actually, our two big events are called Champion Sips. So we do the Champion Sip Iced Coffee Contest in July, and we do the Champion Sip. It was mocktails, and this year we changed it to soup. And so these are like a bracket style competition where we have 16 restaurants or coffee shops participating, and they all put a drink out, and then people go try the drinks and they vote online. So those are the kind of events we've been doing, which aren't really like in-person events, or more, out there kind of events.
So you go to these establishments and vote.
Yes. So you would go try the coffee, you take a picture of it, tag the picture, and then we also do like a bracket in our Instagram story where you would vote, like they go head to head, just like the basketball.
And are they still doing this super duper international barbecue contest stuff in Memphis?
Well, so so we had Memphis in May, the international barbecue competition, and then last year or the year before they started the Smoke Slam competition. And
Is that in addition to Memphis and
right?
May,
So it was like there's sort of like two factions, and then it was like the same weekend, and so barbecue teams had to decide, well, which competition are we going to be in? And then this year, I think Smoke Slam decided not to have their competition, and maybe they're going to merge. But it's been dramatic. There's been a lot of drama.
There's drama in the barbecue world in Memphis.
Yes. There's so much drama.
There's a lot of drama. So there were, it was one competition, and then there were two, and now I think we're down to one. So we'll see. I mean, that's coming up.
Wow.
But in May, what we do is we do our Hungry Tiger food tour, which is in celebration of the Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month. And so we go to 9 different Asian restaurants, and they're all listed on the back page of our magazine, and they're going to be on the website. But we just pick a day and a time, and we say, meet us at this restaurant. The restaurant knows we're coming, and we just sort of have like a community meal together, trying different cuisines.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
Is it something that's ticketed that people sign up for?
No, it's just sort of like you pay your own way. So like we usually have a big community table set up. They're expecting us, so you just come, you order what you want, we share with each other, we pass dishes around. Sometimes we'll have people from the host restaurant or country talk to us about, their cuisine and the history, and it's just real casual. It usually ends up being like anywhere from 10 to 30 people, and it's just like come when you want.
That's a great idea, Mel.
It is a great idea. Great concept, too. Now, is this something that you mimicked or something y'all created?
We created this, yes. This and the Champion Sips were just totally our idea. The Tomato Festival is a little borrowing from Nashville. They've been doing the Tomato Art Festival for like 20 years. And,
Malcolm, we have our John Edgerton tomato haikus that he did
for
Southern Foodway from the Nashville. I have mine posted in my kitchen, yes.
Absolutely.
So Edgy Tomato Festival is a great name.
Terrific name.
Well, because it's the Edge District. Yeah.
And how do you see Memphis in the pantheon of tomato growing regions? Like we here in Mississippi, we think we grow great tomatoes. There's a county called Smith County, and they think they grow the best tomatoes. And I'm interested in all of that. So talk to me about tomatoes in Memphis.
Well, I will not eat a grocery store tomato. Like I will only eat tomatoes from the farmer's market in season, because once you have one of those, you can't go back. But I think Ripley tomatoes are kind of like the most famous around Memphis. I don't know,
that's
but
Ripley, Tennessee, not Mississippi.
Right.
I always had that wrong.
Tim Pierce has hipped us
to that,
to the Ripley tomato.
Right. So the Ripley, they've made a name for themselves, and they have a tomato festival there that's more leaning into the agricultural versus the art side of the tomato, which is what we're doing. But we just have farmers who are doing a lot of heirlooms and, just playing around with different varieties. And so it's just, there's so many to try. I like the little yellow sunbursts
Oh, yeah.
or whatever. I don't know. You go and they tell you the name and there's just so many. I don't know, but there's a lot to choose from. But definitely Ripley would be the most famous, but I don't know if they're the best.
Right. But you think, this is a question, you think that Memphis has a particularly good soil growing season for tomatoes, or have you not given it a lot of thought? Just curious.
No, definitely. I mean, tomatoes.
They're huge.
Yes, and you'll see them through September sometime. The season seems like it's getting longer.
Yep.
And I think we have some really good tomatoes.
Well, we'll have to pencil in the Tomato Fest, the Edgy Tomato Fest.
You betcha.
So the Edgy Tomato Fest, one of the things we're going to do is we're going to try to encourage restaurants to get the farmed tomatoes and to have dishes. So we'll have a guide. Anyone in town who's doing a tomato dish with a locally grown tomato, we're going to put in this guide. So that'll kind of be the whole month long. You can just celebrate tomatoes at all the restaurants that are using them. And then the actual festival, we'll have an art contest. We'll have a vendor market, and then we'll have maybe a Bloody Mary garden, and we'll maybe have a dinner highlighting tomatoes. So there'll be a lot of different tomato activities. But in terms of eating the tomatoes, it's not going to be an agricultural come taste the tomatoes, although there might be some of that. But the eating of the tomatoes will happen in the restaurants throughout the month.
Wow. And tell us a little bit about where you came from. Stacey, you didn't.
Where did you drop in from?
How did you end up in Memphis? Are you a Memphian?
I have been in Memphis over 40 years. So the rule is once you've been there 25 years, you are a Memphian. So
Okay.
I claim that I'm a Memphian, but I was born in Oklahoma City. My husband says I'm a Midwesterner, but I have been in Memphis for a very, very, very long time.
And you have earned your stripes at Edible Memphis.
Yes. My mom is from New Orleans. My parents met in New Orleans. My grandparents were in New Orleans until they passed away. And so I would spend my summers going to New Orleans. I like to go to New Orleans several times a year. That is my big city. So you're saying you come to Memphis, but I really do like to go to New Orleans.
Well, from here we go to Memphis.
Yes.
When we were in Boonville, we
Yes.
came to Memphis for sure.
Okay, Malcolm, as usual, I have to go another direction.
Go right
here.
ahead.
When I think about Memphis, I think about music, and Memphis has such a rich musical history. Where does music show up on the plate in Memphis? Any blues clubs or places that serve
Soul food
that
joints.
also serve great food?
Well, obviously B.B. King's, always, 'cause he's on Beale Street, there's always music going on there. And they have a really good menu and a beautiful restaurant upstairs. But I don't know, I'm kind of the type of person, I want to just eat, enjoy my food, and talk to the people I'm with. I don't want loud music playing. But obviously, there is music around.
Is there music in the farmers markets?
Yeah, they'll have musicians come play in the farmers market for sure. Yes, 100%. And then, I think Bosco's does a jazz brunch. They're around. That's not really my scene. I do love music, but like I said, when I'm eating, I want to enjoy the company and talk to people. And to me, live music and eating don't really go together. I like them separate.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Okay.
It's
I
just
get it.
keeping your peas
get
and
it.
your corn separate on your
but-
plate.
But certainly there is this amazing Memphis music scene that we all look to and admire and appreciate and understand its value.
Have you heard about Porch Fest?
I have heard about the concept of Porch Fest. Does Memphis have one?
Yeah, so last weekend in Cooper Young was Porch Fest. And so that started during the pandemic with, a handful of people having bands play on their porch. And then last
on their
week-
front porch.
On the front
Have
porch.
you seen this concept?
No.
We talked about doing one in Belhaven recently, but it's a great idea.
Yeah, so it's a very walkable community, and I think they had 50 different houses and 400. I don't know. I'm exaggerating, but it was way more than you would expect. And it's just from 2 to 6, and you walk around and you hear different bands playing on different porches, and
People invite you up for a drink or
riding your bikes,
snack
and
or
you can just
whatever.
cash app a tip, but it's free other than the tipping. But it's really, and it was the perfect day for it, and that was that was really cool. All different kinds of music.
Y'all got a lot of stuff going on up
It's a
there.
big city up there. How many people live in Memphis now?
I don't know the actual
Memphis
numbers,
is a big old town.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
We also have Crosstown Concourse. Have you guys heard of that?
No.
Okay, so that's the old Sears building.
Oh,
And-
yeah.
and
I did see something about
So
that.
they turned that into, they call it a vertical urban village. And so in there are several restaurants. There's a high school. There are other businesses. And then they also have the green room, which is where they have lots of music, and then the art bar. And so that is sort of, and they'll do performances on every level. So if you want to combine food and the arts and all that, Crosstown Concourse is a great place to just like, you can go try lots of different things there, and there's always something going on.
Like a large food court, but they're individual restaurants.
It's not a food court. Well, I don't know. It's
I mean,
more,
you can just go around.
Yes, but they're separate restaurants, like sit-down restaurants. It's not like in a mall where you would just buy and go to a common area to sit. They're all individual restaurants.
Now, was Sears a part of a mall, or is this just the Sears building?
It's the Sears Tower, so it's like, I don't know how many stories. Like,
So different art groups, different...
so they have apartments in there, so it's residential and it's commercial.
Very mixed use.
Yes, and there's a school, and then there's restaurants and the arts. So they have Crosstown Arts, which does a lot of programming in the building. So it's
It's
very
what we
cool.
could do with the Metro or Center or, a mall area that's gigantic and enclosed and needs a second life or another life. Anyway, what are some of the articles that you have published that you would say someone should read if they're making a trip to Memphis and they don't really know where to start or how to begin or where to go?
Well, as you pointed out, we do have the guide 48 Hours in Memphis, but I'm going to have to look and make sure it's still up to date. But definitely
But the bones are there.
The bones are there for sure, yes. I don't know, each of our magazines, we kind of go with a theme, so like right now we have the Pride issue where we're highlighting superstars in our LGBTQ plus community. And before that we did the Cozy issue. So in terms of just picking up a magazine, I mean, just depending on the theme and how you're feeling, like that's a good place to start, or just scroll through our Instagram or message me, And I also do, I want to say weekly, but it's really become more like bi-weekly, but I do an email. It's called Where Should I Eat?
Oh.
And and that is sort of a combination of what is on our website that's new, what's on Instagram that's new, and where I'm going that's kind of new. So if you're planning on visiting, just go to our website, ediblememphis.com, and sign up for our emails. And every week, maybe every other week, I'll tell you where you should eat.
Well,
that's convenient.
If you had to eat in Memphis, if you had one day, morning to night, to eat in Memphis, like right now, what would that be?
Morning to night.
Where would you have breakfast?
Okay, all right. So I'm glad you're at least giving me more than one place to choose, because people are always like, what is your one favorite place? And like, that is so hard.
And I'm
That's
saying
tough.
this is
Not
for
fair.
right now, because it could change
Yes.
next month. Just
Yes.
what you're thinking.
Okay, so for breakfast, I would go downtown. It's called Juiced What You Needed. And it started as a juice, well, actually, it started as a burrito truck. And then it morphed into a juice stand at the farmer's market. And now it is a cafe with fresh juices, coffees, really healthy offerings. Like, they do a savory oatmeal that's so unusual, and they have salads, and so it's just really, I'm a salad for breakfast kind of person, but I also really like their
Midwesterner.
Yeah, right. They have really good yogurt bowls, and it's so cute. It's kind of like you feel like you're in Costa Rica. The owner she did a lot of the decorating herself, and there's plants everywhere, so it's like a little tropical oasis downtown. So I would definitely start there. For lunch, I would probably go to Maru, which is a new hand roll bar in East Memphis, where they are flying in like just really fresh, amazing fish, and they have the crispiest, crunchiest nori you've ever seen. Everything on the menu is raw, so like that is not going to be for everybody, but like it is amazing. And then for dinner, this is tough.
We like to make it hard on our guests.
I don't know. I would say right now maybe I would just say Echo. It's in my neighborhood. They have a beautiful outdoor space, and everything is just like, the hospitality is amazing there, and they have really fresh, delicious things. And I was there a couple weeks ago, and they had in April, they had a burrata with heirloom tomatoes, and it was already like, how am I eating such a delicious tomato in April? So really fresh, seasonal things on the menu there, so Echo.
That's great. So I want to circle back to barbecue just for a second, like a dog. You know,
I'm like, yeah, we've already talked about barbecue so much.
I know.
His little mind has been, the whole time we've been talking.
So this is what I'm curious about. There used to be all of these franchise pulled pork sandwich places, Coleman's, Gridley's,
I remember
Lowe's,
Gridley's.
all of these places. As a child, we'd go up to Memphis, and these places were sort of interesting to us. And we had a Coleman's in our town.
Okay.
That was an offshoot of the Memphis Coleman's. There's one Coleman's left on the planet. I believe it's in Senatobia, Mississippi.
Okay.
But what about all these other places? Where are they still around? Are they all gone?
Well, Gridley's is definitely long gone.
Long gone.
I have not been to Coleman's. I think Leonard's, there might be one Leonard's left out in the suburbs. And then, I mean, there's Tops Barbecue, which is sort of like our fast food version of barbecue. But if you do want to talk about barbecue, I did go on an epic barbecue adventure a couple weeks ago for my birthday.
Wow.
We went to Marianna, Arkansas, which is about 45 miles from Memphis, to Jones Barbecue, which has been open since 1910. It's like the oldest African-American continuously owned restaurant in the country. It's been recognized by James Beard. And you go to Marianna, and they open at 7 a.m., and then until they sell out, which is usually like 11 o'clock. And so we went on a Saturday. We got there at 11:30. I was already like prepared. They're not going to be open. They're not going to be open. But they were, and I was like, I'm so excited you're open. And James, who was there, he said that he had made extra because there were some funerals that day. So we got lucky because there were funerals. I mean,
Wow.
you know, quote, lucky. But it is one thing on the menu. It's a barbecue sandwich. And it's served on Wonder Bread. And you can have slaw or not
Pulled or
slaw.
chopped?
It was chopped.
Chopped, okay.
Well, maybe. No, actually, I'm going to say it was pulled. I'm having to go back in the memory. Yes, it was pulled. It's like a vinegar sauce and the slaw and the bread. And it was just so simple. And it was just really mind-blowing. So,
Wow.
Oh, what a happy birthday present.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was
indeed.
awesome. I'd been wanting to go forever and ever when we finally went.
Have you been? Do you know about this place? Carol?
No.
We do now.
I'm going to make sure I got the
Yeah,
name
we
right.
got to work on that.
I have a picture of them on my Instagram. So let's
And what
see.
was the name again?
All right, so it's Jones Barbecue.
Jones.
Marianna, Arkansas.
Marianna. Okay.
And the third generation owner is James Jones, and he is 81. He says he has no plans of retiring anytime soon, but he does have a son who's about to retire from being a basketball coach. He's going to come
and
help
take
him
over.
in like maybe 3 years or so. But he,
Yeah.
it's just him in there. He's just sitting in his chair waiting for people to come in and buy his barbecue.
My kind of place. My kind of place. All right, we're close to the end here. Is there anything that you'd like to tell our listeners, to share about what you do in Edible Memphis, or anything in general you want to leave with us?
Well, just, in May, we're going to be doing our Hungry Tiger tour. So if you're going to be in Memphis, look at the dates on the website, and maybe you could join us. Follow us on Instagram. Sign up for my email. Subscribe to the magazine. I'll mail it to you.
Okay, well, Stacey Greenberg, thank you so much for joining us. We're glad you're in Jackson, Mississippi. I hope you have a lovely concert this evening. And
You haven't told me where I should eat.
I was going to say, maybe you can find something to eat while you're here.
Yeah, on Monday night, that's not always easy.
Monday is not a good time.
Is
to
it
be
the same
here.
way in Memphis? I mean, it's just almost impossible.
Yeah, Mondays and Tuesdays can be tough.
Well, Hal
We
and
should
Mal's-
publish. Yeah, Hal and Mal's is right across the street.
Yeah, we're
we should
staying
publish
at-
a guide
for
for
Mondays.
where to eat on a Monday, and
Yes.
this could probably be universal.
Yes, I think so. I think you're right.
All right. Thanks, Stacey.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mal. Thanks,
Carol.
Stacey. It's been great.
Deep South Dining is a production of Mississippi Public Broadcasting Think Radio and is funded by generous contributions from listeners like you. For our guests Stacey Greenberg and hosts Malcolm White and Carol Palmer, I'm producer Marissa Vaughn. Stay tuned for At Issue up next, and join us next Monday at 4 p.m. for more Deep South Dining, and tune in every Sunday at 9 a.m. for the encore, heard only on MPB Think Radio.